Can wear a headphone.
Okay.
Wish to.
This one will reach you.
Leave it there. Leave it there. Leave it there. Leave it there.
Okay.
Let's go with them.
So this one, can it?
No, that's not it. Keep it.
Okay.
I don't know how to get it. Just... Yeah, today we want to welcome you specially to another edition of the program Ripples of Salt FM Abakaliki. And of course, we want to talk about abuse. Yes, we want to talk about, look at the dangerous trend called drug abuse. When we talk about abuse, we talk about when the purpose of a thing is not known. And of course, funny as it may sound, the moment to hear about abuse, what comes to our mind naturally is the use of narcotics. I don't know if I'm in line, sir, because when we talk about drug abuse, the first thing that comes to mind is, besides Adam, I'm going to cook, kind of. So why should I even be talking about or be listening to drug abuse? But today in the studio with me to talk about drug abuse, what drug abuse is and what it is not, and a way out is Mr. Ome Ajai. Mr. Ome Ajai Eyuche, right?
Yeah.
Oh, God. I don't know I'm going to get that name, Ajai. All right. So he is the DCN, the Deputy Commander Drug Demand Reduction Unit, NDLEA, Enugu State Command. Enugu State Command. And I'm meeting him.
Command. Not Enugu State Command.
Because when I got
No,
that
everybody-
Enugu State,
that's
I was
everybody.
kind
That's
of
everybody
maybe
State
you're
Command.
coming from Enugu
No.
okay here in Ebonyi
should
State,
be
all right.
also,
So
yeah.
okay, so he is actually one of us here in Ebonyi State. When I saw Enugu, anyway, I didn't call you to confirm,
Yeah.
but I was skeptical, like I don't know.
No.
But all the same, thank you for coming around this beautiful afternoon to Salt FM Abakaliki. And of course, each time each of my guests avails him or herself to this program, I feel fulfilled, because it's a time where I talk to someone out there who may not really be getting it right. And at the end of the program, I want to get a feedback. I want that person, wherever he or she is, to look at him or herself and say, yes, thank God I listened. And when you come around, you make the program and the work so easy, and then you save a life. Of course, when we talk about evangelism, when we talk about preaching the gospel and all of that, we are pastors as well, you know. So because it has to do with changing a life, you know, changing one from one bad behavior to another. So we are all preachers of the word. Welcome to the program today. My name is Loves Onyebuchi, and already seated is my guest, Mr. Ome Ajai Eyuche. He is the Deputy Commander Drug Demand Reduction Unit, NDLEA, Ebonyi State Command. Again, I say welcome. So quickly, because of our time, let's understand critically and vividly what drug abuse is.
Well, like you have already explained, that drug abuse means so many things as people, or what really come to mind is that I don't want to cook. So when we talk about abuse of drugs, so it simply means when one takes any substance, especially psychoactive substance, in a manner that it affects him or her and people around him. What do I mean by this? Then if a driver takes alcohol in a manner that he drives recklessly, in a manner that he puts himself and those he's carrying his vehicle in danger, or even passers-by in danger, causes accident, or you have seen that anytime he takes alcohol, that is when he drives recklessly, and also you say that he abuses alcohol. Assuming you're talking about the way it affects you and other people around you, too, maybe a married man or woman, each time the person comes back home, you will be hearing a kind of quarrel, commotion, beating, and all that. This man, and all that. And also, we can also say that drug is abuse when it is taken in a manner that is not indicated by a medical personnel. Maybe you are asked to take a particular substance or a drug, maybe cough syrup with codeine, maybe 20 meals every night, and you see somebody taking one bottle because he or she want to get high. So the person has abused such drug. Again, if a particular substance is legally prohibited and one takes it like cannabis, the one we call Igbo, cocaine and all that, is an abuse of substance. So these are the things that can amount to drug abuse.
So how do these things get into the country and get to even the common man? Because if they are harmful, then why do we allow it in? And I think your office has that question to answer.
Okay, why do we allow them in?
Yeah, or do we produce them here?
It's a criminal activity. People smuggle, just as we've been hearing about smugglers.
Okay.
So people smuggle them in, smuggle them out of the country. And we've been trying, not only NDLEA, other security agencies at the interdiction points, that is borders, airports, and all that, they've been trying to see how this thing can be prevented. And you see, no matter how you try, even the most sophisticated nation in the world that have the most advanced equipment, you see technologies, you see discover that US and other people, they are still battling with the same problem. Okay. And one begin to ask, how do these things get into the countries? So it's something that is a kind of cartel, kind of. So the network, and that is what we try as much as possible to break this the networks, not only at the international level. We also talk about, you said whether they are being produced here. Yes, some of them are being produced here. We have indigenous drugs like kai kai, which is being distilled in our country here. We have Igbo cannabis, which is cultivated in some part of Nigeria. So some of them are being produced. And if you have been following the operational trajectories of NDLEA, you discover that we've been destroying so many farms, dislodging these persons, even attacking their financial base to make sure that they are discouraged. So some of them are produced locally here. Some of them are being imported. And even a few years ago, this when there was explosion of this Mpurumbiri everywhere, you discovered that in Enugu alone, 3 clandestine laboratories were dictated and destroyed. That is those laboratories that are in hidden places where many people don't even think
have access to.
And this thing is so terrible that just somebody renting 3-bedroom flat, maybe in a suburb, and can use one room to be producing those things, and people around may not know, but it's so hazardous to people around him or her who are those places they are producing it. So that is how the whole thing either came in or being planted, distributed in our society today.
Okay, so let's look at the factors that trigger the use of drugs and how it's been abused.
Yes, if you talk about factors, there are so many.
Contribute to the use of drugs.
Contribute to drug use. There's just so many. Some of them might even be personal. Some personality of that individual may also come to play. Or you look at the environment, you look at maybe the physiological makeup of that individual. So when we talk about it, you now look at the social factors that can contribute. You look at the biological factors that can contribute, and also psychological factors that can contribute. When you look at our society today, young people, they want to make it quick. And some of them can stay awake all through the night, like they are doing all this, their internet fraud or whatever thing. And some of them need some of these drugs to stay awake, to do this kind of work they are doing. And that's why whenever you arrest them, you discover that you be sure that you are getting some of these drugs there. And you see violence everywhere. People need it to have the courage to face whatever thing they are doing. Wow. And also we see the factor, some persons just want to attract attention, or maybe they've seen others doing it, that's peer pressure. They want to also do it. And some persons do it because they really want to overcome certain issues. That is using it to cope with some situations. Maybe they feel that they are not social. One, they want to use it to, make themselves social, to compensate for their not being social. Some persons also, probably they have feel within themselves, they have felt And in order to measure up with people who have the thing that have succeeded, they begin to do it. Some people feel that they have been neglected. So when you neglect somebody, like people who live in marginalized society, communities, for example, government presence is not being felt in such a place. There's nobody remembers them, employment they don't have. So all these things can lead somebody into drug abuse. And some persons who live in abusive kind of environment or relationship, it could be the spouse, it could be even children. Maybe the home is not friendly at all. Each time the person is coming back, he takes those things to withstand the situation he or she is going to meet at home. And some people have some particular sicknesses. Instead of going to doctors to say, this is the situation I have, maybe they have been treated with tramadol, for example, or they have been treated with sedative drugs, maybe sleeping pills. Instead of going back to doctor as the case may be, after 3 days, see your doctor. They say, okay, since I'm on the drug the doctor used, so they start abusing it. So these are some of the factors that can push people into drug use. There are a lot more.
Okay, so how do you control the proliferation of drug use?
Yes, controlling it is not just in the hand of NDLEA alone. There are a lot of people that also contribute. If you talk about drug use, we have those in the Ministry of Health also. But control person is having issues. You know, sometimes people ask this question, drug use. And the drug use just simply means that one has used drugs in a manner that is what to tell
you. What efforts do you put?
Country.
Okay.
So not when you use what allows it's like a deliberate
okay. Okay. So how does it fly out of the country?
Okay. Out of the country.
Yes. How does it fly or crawl out of the country?
Anyway, like I think that question has been answered before.
Okay.
When I say it's just one of the criminal activities we see in our society. So they have their own, network. The way they network and all that. They can even, if it on state and the Nigeria generally, if you follow it, it will interest you to know that we have been doing, dislodging these people, arresting so many of them, prosecuting so many of them, and they're doing a lot in that regard.
Okay, so I will come back to you in the respect to arresting and all of that. But before we get to that point, let's look at
affects every sector of our economy and every aspect of our life, relationship, and everything. So when we talk about how it affects our finances, you see that people who are addicted to drugs, they can buy these drugs and forget about that. Such a person can never save money. Such a person can never use money for any meaningful investment. Because anything that comes his way, in fact, if he or she does not see that money, he's ready to sell personal belongings, anything that he can comes his way to make sure that he or she takes it. For example, even if the person is a worker, he's working, even before the month ends, he has always spent his money also. The family are going to take cocaine or whatever drugs they are taking straight to that place. See that it has taken a center stage in their life that is their waking thoughts and their sleeping thoughts. They don't have any other thing. So their life is just, it's like dependent on it. There's no other thing they are thinking about. So it can affect their every part of their body. It can affect the heart. It can affect the kidney. It can affect they can lead to mental problems. It can lead to insomnia, that sleeplessness. It can affect the person depending on how the type of drug the person is taking, how long he has taken it, the physiological makeup of that individual. And they also talking about the persons at the social level. We discover that our society every day, we hear about one crime here or the other. Some of these criminal activities by substance users could be that they want to commit this crime in order to help them raise money for their habit. Because some of them, if you have there's nothing again to do. it may also shock you that some girls also offer their body. That is why if we are doing a kind of assessment, we ask this question: have you ever exchanged drug for sex? You see, some girls will tell you yes. And how do they do it? You see a young girl approaching somebody when the person has a craving, serious urge to use it, and tell the person, please, I really need, can you have sex with me? Can you make this to me and give me drug? Yes, they do it. And you see the extent, just for us to see the gravity of the offense, not just a simple something that people talk about. So that's the level these people can go. That they go to people to do it, to ask for sex, just because they want to take it. And all that. It can also, there are a lot of things that factors there that can come in.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Ome Ajay Eyuche. Thank you very much for your. All right, thank you very much, and thank you for your responses so far. And of course, you know we are on to Salt FM Abakaliki this beautiful Saturday afternoon, and the number to call to be part of the program to ask Mr. Ajay here your question and make your contribution on the program is 0813-593-3112. 0813-593-3112. I see you all online as well. You can drop your question there. We'll read it on, and Mr. Ajay is well. He's able and capable to respond to our questions. Okay, sir. I had a bitter experience 2 days ago when I was rushing for a meeting somewhere, and one trigger-friendly policeman was on the road and very close here, along that Abakaliki Express, Enugu Abakaliki Expressway.
Yeah.
And the man was already drunk. When I mean drunk, that's Ojugo. When you looking at him, you can't even stand the stench of the thing coming out from him. Yes, so, and he was having a gun. And dangerous. He was, at every little conversation, he was touching the trigger. Because I would have said something, because I was so pained and annoyed when he stopped the bike I was on, and when this guy tried to plead with him to let him pass, that he's just coming out to work for the day at that time. It should be around 3 p.m. That while coming back, he was going to settle him and all of that. This man insisted. He kept us there, and I was so annoyed because I was almost running against time and all of that. But because of that gun, something about it. So I don't want anybody to come and waste me, because when they will see and all of that. So I just kept calm. I was trying to keep my cool and all of that. But this man is already, in fact, he's not supposed to be on the road. Okay. Assuming our system is working, he's supposed to be at the guard room, serving one punishment or the other, because you don't come out with a gun fully drunk at that time of the day, and then you are talking to the bike man, you are talking to the people, the road users, you are touching the trigger. And even if there's no bullet in the gun, I wouldn't know. But the fact that he's with a gun puts fear on every road user. So how do you relate with this kind of people? Because I know your office should have a role to play.
Yeah. You see, maybe they didn't notice that in his office before he left office, because that kind of person not supposed take note of that, to handle gun in that state, because anything would have happened. Because if you look at most accidental discharge on the road, go and look at it, most of them are pulling under the influence of drugs.
Yes.
That's why I say maybe they didn't notice it before it. So that's why recently, I think this correctional service, they've just invited us 8th of next month to come and talk to their staff. Then other security agencies will be liaising, to see how we can also share this knowledge so that everybody will get it. So it's not our own is to give the information, and it is the responsibility or duty of their own organization to dictate such persons, and they see how they can correct it before the person goes out. Because as you rightly point out, that's a threat to the public, the road users. Okay. So that's how
Okay,
can be
now
one of
let me
those.
come down because in my former area where I used to stay, I had this neighbor who is from your office to say, and though a junior worker, but then his work is he sells this thing. I don't know if he still stays there because that was 6 years ago.
Okay.
He sells this thing, and he is even the distributor. He's one of you, but he's the distributor, and he uses it, he distributes, he sells. The only thing he does better is at the end, if at any point any one of the resellers refuses to settle him, because he has a way of collecting tax from them. And then if at any point they refuse to settle him, he comes back. Then that's when he reinforces and remembers that he's a member of NBLEA.
All right.
So how do you work on such people in your place of work, or is it that people are not seeing them?
Okay. Did you report this matter to our office?
I did not report because I didn't have a close anything with him, but I because it's my area, so I observed it.
Okay. So you see that this is everybody's work. It's not just NDLEA work.
Okay.
If you see something and you not say something, then you don't have to put it to us.
Okay.
There's one of you.
Okay.
So because you did not say something,
You will not answer this question.
no, that I will not answer
Okay.
it. Yes, in every organization you must see bad eggs.
Yes.
Just as you are pointed out, say you say one policeman drunk. So I can't say here and exonerate my own organization and say everybody is we have excellent officers and everybody. It can't be everybody, and you have rightly said one junior person. It's possible such a thing happen, but then it is you can discreetly make a report in our office. Does not mean until you come here and they say my name is this, I'm going to make this report. If you report, okay, who is the state commander? If you're afraid that maybe if you contact another person, they might say you are the person. Hey, you will now get to him. Look at what is happening there. Look at what is happening there. Identity of the person will be known, because such a thing in our organization is a dismissal offense if it is known and it is known to be true. The person will be dismissed from the and so many persons have been dismissed, and that person will not be an exception. It's just because his cover has not been blown. That's why he's still parading himself in that place and doing whatever.
Okay, so do you have a way of protecting the image or the identity of whoever reports
exactly
to you?
Exactly. That's why I said that if you feel, I don't think at the state of a state commander or even his deputies or even myself, do you think that I will go about and say, this is the person who told me this? No way. Okay. We don't even, your name is not even important, your identity is not even important.
Okay.
You just to give us a credible information, we'll work on it.
Okay.
So you don't need to tell us I live at number this and that. No. Okay. Nobody will know. So we know how to carry out our surveillance and they get the person or persons involved.
Okay, thank God that I know now that my image and my identity will be protected anytime I bring such report to you. Yeah. So I'm going to get to work immediately. So what measures are in place generally in curbing? Okay, we've looked at it. How do you ensure your task force do their job transparently? Because I know you have task force. I've seen them around.
Yes. We have our strike force and all that. To ensure is that everything starts from, they don't just jump up and take their guns to the to road and start jumping up and down. One is that for them to leave the office, it is not just that moment that the information about that person got to the office. The information must have been there. They may have been monitoring what we call put surveillance on the person to find out where he lives, to find out the area, the mode of concealment, where he keeps it and all that, before they get up and go and they get to the person's where the person is staying. Then again, we can also have that stop and search. I don't know whether this that's what we're talking about. Who can also, from time to time, based on information, come to the road, and maybe after staying here, they say just based on how the information come, they can still go. So we have we have the rule of engagement. They should know from office if they are going there. That is why we also task the public, if at any point in time you feel that our staff, any of our staff, has misbehaved, you call the office, and when you tell the people, the office, look at the people at so time, we should be able to know the people who were there at that time. We have a mechanism of dealing with these persons in our own in our office, because we have rules and regulations regarding every activity that any person is carrying out So why some persons do things and get away with it because nobody had reported them.
Okay, so before you leave here, you're going to drop the numbers with which through which you can call and get
Yes.
to whoever in your office.
Yes, I'll do
Okay,
that.
okay, please. I've also observed that the use of drugs and its abuse has transcended to our primary and secondary schools. Are you aware?
Well,
Have you heard? Okay, let me say, have you heard?
I have heard. I've
You've
heard.
heard. Okay, so how?
And
What?
I'm also aware.
Okay, and you are aware.
Yes.
What efforts are in place to carry out, to carry the public along, so that these children who have been introduced to the use of drugs and has been abusing it as well, to rehabilitate and get them out of that behavior?
Okay, that's good. In the first place, I will talk about prevention. I will talk about rehabilitation. You're talking about the treatment aspect of it. So, in the first place, these persons at the primary, secondary school, out of curiosity, maybe due to peer pressure and all that, they got into it, and that's why we've been going to school. If you like this week, just this week, we've been to several schools. Every week, if you look at we have our should I call it our chat board and all that, where we see all this. Every week you see that Ebonyi State, we've been on news because we go to schools, primary, secondary schools, tertiary institutions. What are we going there to do? We are going there for drug prevention, preventive education, to give them those preventive measures that, and also their teachers, preventive measures that will make them not to get into it. And before now, if you look at the curriculum of primary and secondary schools, those things, especially just 1 to 3 and the primaries to 1 to 5 or 6, you see that drug abuse have been introduced long ago, and the teachers to teach them. The only thing is that sometimes we may not have teachers who are competent enough to drive the message there home to them, so that the children will understand the impact and they get convinced that this thing can destroy their lives. And the people who have been affected by these drugs also, we have a way of treating them. It's treatable, and of course, if you can have time to come to our center there, you see people. Yeah, you come, you interact with them. We give you the opportunity to interact with them. You get first-hand information. They will tell you why. Okay, so you have a center where they are being rehabilitated. Yes, we have a center where they are being rehabilitated. So we don't just leave them because sometimes society look at it as it's a matter of desire or self-will. Maybe they because they don't have that will to stop and all that. So when they are going to the level of addiction, the only thing is what treatment and rehabilitation. So treatment encompasses so many things. It's not just when one hears treatment, you think that it's only when you go to hospital and get some drugs. No. Treatment could be pharmacological, which is assisting the person, what you call MAT, that is medical assisted therapy. And it could also be psychosocial, that's psychological and social intervention based on the problem of that person. So you see that's how treatment goes. So then before you treat, do you diagnose? Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Okay, when I was talking about assessment, so we have our assessment instrument, which is an internationally recognized assessment known as ASSIST. So that is what we use in NDLEA. There are other ones like ASCII, there's other CAGE, which other maybe Ministry of Health and others may be using, or maybe used in other countries. But what we use, which is approved by the United Nations, that's what we use. Our own we use for our diagnosis. So that ASSIST, it looked like about 8 domains, just like you talked about finance that time. Some people might be financial problem because of the way they are reckless with money. So some people might be that they don't sleep very well. Some may have some behavioral disorder. Some may have issues with spouse or family members. So these are the things that you are going to, as you're assessing the person, you get all these facts, and that will now give you, a clue of the person's treatment plan, what it should look like, and you drop your so from there you should be able to also know the type of thing. Okay, after the assessment, you should be able to now diagnose the person, maybe substance use disorder, that's a problem, or harmful disorder, You understand? So it is based on that you have diagnosed that you're going to treat. We don't just do things, anyhow. That's why everything we're doing now is evidence-based. If I think we are conversant with this year's team.
No.
Okay, this year's United Nations, UNODC, United Nations Office on Drug and Crime, the team that we use this year's commemoration is the evidence is clear. Invest in what? Prevention.
Okay, the evidence is clear. Invest in
prevention, because prevention is not only better, but it's cheaper than cure. Yeah. It's better we prevent it at primary school, as you talk, and secondary school, than allowing it to occur before curing it. Because the money, the resources, the time you will invest in bringing the person back, it will have been saved if you had prevented it.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Ome. At this point, I'll start taking your calls. I've been seeing your calls. The number is 0813-593-3112. 0813-593-3112. Call in, ask your question now that we have Mr. Ome in the studio, so that you can, as well, like I told you, okay, when arrest is made, how do you handle it? Because do you just handle it the way they handle the normal police arrest and all of that?
So I don't know how they handle the normal police arrest.
Because when the policeman comes and then he arrests, he takes you to cell, he takes you to, and so is that how you people operate as well?
What we do is
evidence-based arrest.
Led.
Okay.
You understand? Evidence. Okay. So when you now see evidence, which means that before you even get the person arrested, you must gather so many intelligence about that person that it will be very difficult for that individual to regular out of it comes to your office. So the person say, I will not do when you begin to tell the person, at so time you were there, at so time we were there. So the person will even be shocked. How did these people know? That's evidence-based led. Okay. Because you have already collected enough information about that individual. And when the person comes into your custody, we are mindful of the human right aspect of it. You understand? So that you treat the person according to so the person, you should know that the person has his right and not a trample on his right, though he have arrested him. So that's why we don't, I don't know how the other police do their own, but our own, you don't need to beat somebody you have arrested there. You have arrested him, it's in your custody. You get your information from him, not coercing the person to bring information. And the person has the right to tell you, I don't have anything to say. It's a statement. And the person may have right to tell you that I must see my lawyer before I write, okay, which is right, my family member or a friend or somebody that's close to me before I write, I speak. Yes, they do it. So you be patient with them, allow them to give, and also make sure that you don't keep the person longer than necessary to avoid attracting human rights petitions and all that. Okay. So that's the way we treat them with human face.
Okay, so when you place the person on bail, do you have a way of ensuring they don't go back to that behavior, a kind of rehabilitation like you just said? But this one is when you put on bail, do you just bail them and mix them up in the society, or do you keep, like when you want to convert when you have a new convert, you don't just preach and then the person comes to your church and is okay. You have to follow up. Do you do a kind of follow up on the people you've rehabilitated?
It's like you have been doing a lot of evangelistic.
Yes, I'm an evangelist.
Okay. Are you talking about the users or traffickers, so that we know the people who are focusing on?
The users. Let's even talk. We are talking basically about the users, because we are talking about the grassroots.
When we talk about the users, yes, as they are living, you now talk about social integration. How does this individual, be reintegrated into the mainstream of the society? Okay. The home is the first place to receive him. If you receive him and convince that this young man is now okay, is stable, is now productive, that is how the society will look at him. Then you now give him all the necessary support. We do it, we do family counseling to tell families as he's coming back, this person needs him all the support he needs: psychological support, emotional support, financial support, all the support he needs. You give him, and even before the person leaves, we try to find out what have you put down for him? What are the plans for him? Is he going back to school? Is there any place he's going to be attached? Is there anywhere you are locating him from this place to other places? The work he was doing, is this still secured? We have to find out all these things, and at a point in time, we should be able to know where he or she is going to. So we do not stop there. We now have a follow-up schedule where we continue following him up, and from time to time we come. We don't do blind business there. What we do is that when the person comes, we have to test you and know. Even when you say I don't take the drug, we test you to know the kind of drug you're taking. And even when you that during the time of follow-up, we have to test you. We have to find out what are the things that are still causing you to maybe take this drug again, or what are the areas of difficulties, in that place you are. Maybe the family, they are not cooperative. Maybe as he came out, he's still having a lot of urge. We find out those things and see how we can support the person. So we don't just say, you are treated, you go. After all, we refer to them as recovering drug-dependent person, not recovered.
Okay.
So they are still recovering on the process. That's why we keep on following them up, as you said. Our evangelistic outreach gets to them where they are. And also, if the people that are also selling, those who are selling, if they are giving, most times it's only on few occasions and on special occasion anyway that we give administrative bail. Maybe on health grounds, or something happen that, or maybe the court is on recess. With administrative bail means that somebody should come and take him on that bail. Maybe if it is sickness or health ground, anytime that is needed, you produce him. And the other bail is the one that court may also give, which does not fall within our powers to do. It's just at the jurisdiction of the court to say, okay, we're granting bail. They will give the bail condition that people will take it. So that is how that aspect is done.
Okay. And in the course of your campaign, do you consider those at the grassroots?
Yes.
Or just Nime City?
No, Nime City. If you look at our this, I can open here and show you. The other time they did in Afikpo. We do the other time it was in the other is one is Z village like that. We go to this Zangbo side. We go to many villages and cities. We don't concentrate what we are doing here. Even your own, are you from Ebonyi State?
Yes, no.
Tell us your community.
Okay, I'm Onitsha. Have you gone to Onitsha? Onitsha, yes.
Just tell us.
Isu, have you gone to Isu?
I know those places. I'm not new. I'm virtually, I'm new here.
Oh,
I'm new. So, but I believe the people, my predecessors, must have been there several times. But then, even as you have known now, tell them in your community that can you organize your people that want to come and talk to them. Whether the whole community, whether the particular youth or women, even in their churches, just try it and see. You see that we go to all those places.
Okay, and then you communicate to people. All right, and it's been a wonderful outing here with you on Salt FM Abakaliki. And today we have been looking at the dangerous trend, drug abuse, and a way out. So far, the gentleman in the studio has been doing justice to every of our question here, and I am very happy. And just before we go on the program, sir, how do we come out of this drug abuse menace?
Yeah.
What's the way out?
Very important question. You see, honestly, it is something that the government, wealthy individuals, media houses, everybody must join hands together to do it. Now, we keep on advocating that there should be budgetary allocation, that will take care of these people. If you look at Ministry of Health, we have a allocation for HIV/AIDS from federal down. They said it to tackle that particular this segment of persons. There are other ailments and sicknesses there, but this particular area, they have a particular people that what do they call them? NSACA. Is it NSACA? NSACA. Yes. And the people those things, they give them, and there are these antiretroviral drugs which they take. They provide other things like we talk about harm reduction. They are also captured in that harm reduction. And these allocations are being made. So what we're saying is that government should, at all levels, begin to make budgetary allocations that we take care of. As every year, the budget take care of this kind of people, their special population. Instead of seeing them as seeing drug addiction as a sort of moral weakness or people or self-inflicted injury, they should be allowed to nurse their injury because they cause it themselves. No, HIV is some people deliberately got themselves into that, and yet governments take care of them. And going to our communities, there can be alternative activities. Recreational facilities can be built. People can be, through the CBOs, community-based organizations, identify those persons that from a very poor background who can be trained. When you engage them, empower them, let them vulcanizer, tailoring this and this. Because for us to prevent or stop this, is for us to look at those things. What are those factors that are lacking, that are causing people to get into this idleness? You talk about idleness, unemployment. You talk about people who are living in a marginalized society, communities. You talk about people that are in abusive relationship or in a home that people are, even their parents are taking drugs. Let me share this with you. There was a time one boy was brought to my office when I was in Enugu. And this young boy, the father and the mother, if you see the way they describe this young man, you may think that the boy was a devil. So when he came, in fact, one thing I love about him is that even when the father, when they were talking, he didn't talk. He was very calm. Mm-hmm. But when they left, you know what he told me? He said, Oga, how can they have bar in their house and they're accusing me of taking drugs? I said, what do you mean by they have bar in their house? Wow. He said they have bar in their house. If you just come to our house, as you come, you see bar. And this woman you see and this man, if you see where they are drinking, they will drink and they will be fighting and this and this. So when the next time they came, I now says, please, excuse me, I have a question for you. This boy said you could have bar in your house. And you can't have bar in your house. And you are now accusing him of abusing drugs. He said he learned it from you people. So they were very bitter. And when they went back, the boy called me on phone and said, Oga, they want to kill me. They want to kill me. So that is, some people may be from home where they are doing this thing, go and buy a cigar for me. Go and take this one and throw it. The person want to, so this cigar you have, after smoking, you have thrown the bottle away. Let me see how this thing tastes. This kai or beer you've been drinking, let me don't test how it is. So if from such home, if they can stop it, take it, let it be, do it outside the knowledge of these children. I see that they may not learn it. And if the communities that are marginalized, if government presence is seen in that place, you have a government outfit like all these NDLA police and others in that environment, you construct road and give them basic amenities. I think they will also feel that government eyes are there, But if you just leave the people like that, they will think that after all we have been neglected, there's something we can do. And if some persons too, as parents today, they don't have time for their children. That's what we see. They hold so many jobs because things are hard. At the end of your service year, you come back home to see your child being a useless boy or girl. What is the benefit? So we should make time as parents to sit down with our children, find out who their friends are, find out where they go to, do you do your assignments, find out what they take, why are they isolating, why is he isolating himself? He used to stay with us here. Now he no longer stays. He stays alone and all that. We have to check up all these things. That is how these things can be tackled in our society. But sometimes we take so many things for granted. I think I've sent him to school. I've given him a teacher and others. Who are the friends of these your children? You don't know. What time does he come back? Leave him now and all that. And we keep on saying that these young people that use are the, how do we say it?
Leaders of tomorrow.
You to see them. I'm going to talk now. You to see them leaders of tomorrow. Okay. So you are the leaders of tomorrow. So I can you so because that onye ọbụla malụ na onwere ụmụaka n'ụlọ ya kaba alụ ka ya na nwatakịrị ụmụaka ya na-akala ụka mgbe ọbụla adị na happy aka asị na okay, because if you don't talk to that child, somebody's
nature abhors vacuum.
Yes, that's it.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Ome Ajay, for coming around, and I must sincerely appreciate you for your presence in the studio today, and for every one of you that have joined this program today. Thank you very much for being a part of Ripples on Salt FM today, and for all of you that joined online, I see you. Thank you very much. For people I didn't take your calls, sorry, but we needed to hear all the information. So next week we are going to open the phone line as early as possible, so you may call in and I will start taking your course early enough. And thank you very much, Mr. Jai. Thank you, and more power to your elbow, to the office, for even releasing you to come here and say your truth.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Okay.
The name again, I want to remind
you will not remind and you have to pay me before I tell you my name again. All right. Thank you, viewers, for spending your time with us. And of course, we've heard from him. Parents, we have a role to play. You can't be taking alcohol, abusing drugs, sending the child even to buy for you. And at the end of the day, you want to expect a cent. You want to see a cent as a child. No. You have already configured and reconfigured that child's mindset. So this is where parents have to come in and do their work. I mean, let's create more time for our children, and let's talk more with them, and let's try as much as we can to ensure that what they learn outside the family vision and the family laid down rules are not against what we teach at home, and that way we'll have a better society. And this is the essence of Ripples on Salt FM. Thank you for your time. My name is, I don't want to say my name because I don't want Mr. Ome to own my name, but you all know my name, so you've peeped. Go. This is exam cheating. My name is Loves Onyebuchi. Thank you for your time, and have a sweet weekend.
That's exactly her name, and thank you very much too. We shall see you next week.
All right.